Welcome back to the channel. I'm Hank Strange. If you've been watching my channel for some time, you know that this is a lifestyle channel and I like to share the kinds of things that I'm into. One of those things that I'd like to start sharing with you guys is watches. Yes, I know with the advent of the smartphones, particularly the iPhone and iWatches, etc., lots of folks feel like there's no reason to have a watch, and that's exactly why I'm getting back into watches. Because, you know, I like to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So today I want to talk to you guys about a birthday present that I got from Lola Strange, which is the Hamilton Khaki Field Day Date. And we're going to open this up and I'm going to show you guys what I like about this watch, why Lola picked this particular watch out for me, you know, kind of with my assistance. Just as a clue to you guys, the watch that I'm wearing on my wrist is the Oceanus Titanium. And I've had this for some time, and it's actually pretty worn and beaten up, but it's a good illustration of the kind of watches that I'm into. So let's get into this right now. So first thing I'm going to do before I unbox this is take off my trusty Oceanus. The parent company for Oceanus is Casio. So this is quartz, but it has atomic timekeeping and obviously a chronograph. Like I said in the beginning, I really like everything being black. The face, the case, the bracelet in this case, or strap. I really enjoy it all being black, but I'm going to take that off and we'll use that as a reference once we open up everything. But, you know, fan of it, and you can tell it's really been worn and used. Okay, so let's jump in here. The box, pretty much cardboard. It has this white sleeve and, you know, black cardboard box with the silver Hamilton on it. You know, I know folks enjoy a nice box out there. Hamilton is kind of what I would say is probably like a mid-priced. This one is, if you look on for retail, this is somewhere around $1,700–1,800. I got this from Joma Shop, or Lola got it from Joma Shop with my encouragement, and I think we got it for around $1,100. And so there you go, it's a cover. Then inside there's another box that contains the instructions and the actual watch box itself. So if we pull that out here, we'll see there goes Hamilton instructions in lots of different languages. And one of the good things I found about Hamilton is that they actually have on their website instructions for using the various watches that they have. And Hamilton has many watches. You've got lots of options there. This is the Khaki Field Day Date Auto in black dial, and Hamilton is also under the Swatch umbrella, so there's lots of things shared. Let's open up the box here and take a look inside. There you go. So basically it's just a box with a cutout for the cushion and then the watch itself. Let's take this out of here so I can show you guys. And there we go. Beautiful watch. Here's a comparison of the Oceanus and the Khaki Day Date. And, you know, obviously you could tell I like dark face or black face watches and black all over. This the strap is black. The bracelet is black here. And I like the chronograph features as well. Do I really use them all the time? Honestly, my honest answer to that is no. But I just like the way that it looks. So let's get super detailed here in what we have going on with the Hamilton. So as I said before, I got this from Joma Shop, and there is a 2-year warranty that's standard with Joma Shop. This is our first time actually using the website, which is, I guess you could put that in the category of gray market. So we didn't get it directly from Hamilton, got it through Joma Shop, and it is warranted for 2 years. So I'll let you know if we use Joma Shop continued in the future, what I think about them. This is my first experience. We didn't have any problems with it being delivered and all that kind of stuff. I have noticed that there are some watches that appear to be available on Joma Shop, but if you look closely, it takes maybe, you know, several weeks before you actually get it. This wasn't one of those. It was actually available for immediate delivery on the site. We got it pretty fast without any kind of problems. So, you know, I think that was a good thing. All right, so now I said before that the retail price of this is around $1,800. When it came out, I think this has been out now for over a year. Joma Shop has it for $1,095, and the movement that it has is the automatic Hamilton Calibre H21, which has a 60-hour power reserve. And I'm going to assume, I know some of the Hamiltons have an 80-hour power reserve, but that's when they don't have the chronograph. Chronograph, I guess, takes a little bit out of that. That's based on an ETA 7750, excuse me. Basically, the value, it has 25 joules and 28,800 frequency, and this is pretty much like a workhorse movement within Hamilton. You find it in lots of Hamilton watches and variations in other watches that exist out there. Then let's go now to the face. It's crystal, and it is scratch-resistant sapphire with anti-reflective coating, and it's 42 millimeters, which for me, I find with my wrist, and I'll put this on and let you guys take a look at what it looks like on my wrist. But there's my wrist, you know, like naked compared to it. I always thought I had like a small wrist. I think it's about a 7.5-inch wrist that I have, and this is probably the smallest that I like the look of on my wrist. So I would tend to go above 40, maybe like 45, etc. This is 42, and I think it's appropriate. The construction is basically, you've got options on this. You can get pure stainless steel. This is stainless steel with black PVD, which is physical vapor deposition coated. And the way that they coat that is actually multi-layers here of the PVD. So we'll see if that winds up doing better. On the Oceanus, which is titanium, the case and the bracelet, you know, this is what it's done over, I think I've had this watch now for about, I don't know, maybe 12, 13 years, and I'm not exactly sure of what coating it has, and I've been pretty rough with it, so, you know, it's a little worn. It's not horrible yet, but we'll see how the PVD coating holds up over time. The back is also transparent, and here you can see, you know, here's the weight right here, or the rotor, which is marked in Hamilton, and I'll go over everything that has the Hamilton brand marking here, but it is a clear case so you can see through to the automatic movement inside, and that's pretty good looking. It says Swiss made, which if you research these things, you'll find out Swiss made is very specific. You have to have at least 60% of the parts made and manufactured in Switzerland, and then obviously be assembled there. So this is the black PVD stainless steel. I'll get my my scale out and weigh it. It does, you know, it feels like it has like it doesn't feel heavy or anything like that. It's got reasonable weight compared to other watches. I would say that that it's not far off from this titanium model that I have here, but I don't know the specific weight. I'll put that on the scale. I forgot to put my scale out here right now, but I'll put that on the scale, roll that in for you guys so you can take a look at it and see what we have going on there. The finish, as I said, is that PVD black, and it is all around. The strap itself is a textile strap. If you look at it, you know, it feels soft, but it has some traction on it. And then on the flip side, there actually is like a leather backing on it. It's got 20mm lugs, which is written here on the strap. This is a Hamilton strap. Also has the name on it. One of those things that I said that we'll go over. So leather backing, textile strap, black, and the clasp on it. Let's go down to the clasp here. If you could see that, is Hamilton's, you know, their brand or what they're recognized for. Basically, that's an H. It's a double clasp, right? And it has Hamilton written here on the outside of the clasp, and it's a double pronged, or tang, I should say, double tang there. So kind of makes an H if you look at it the right way. And I'll show you guys how it goes together. So there's obviously two holes going up there. You would fit it to your size, and then, you know, you'll be able to put it in like that, and then you've got 2 loops that you could put it into for safety, and there you go. So, you know, let's talk about materials. I do have a checklist here that I'm going through so I can make sure I keep these, you know, detailed videos for you. At the risk of sounding repetitive, it's stainless steel with a textile strap here. You know, feels really tough. The case itself is tough. I can, you know, when I'm moving it around here, I could actually feel the vibrations inside of the automatic movement winding up. The bezel doesn't move, and you know, it feels pretty solid to me. And this is what it needs to be, right? It's a military style watch, so it needs to be tough. That's what I'm looking for, something that I can wear every day. There's no crazy decorations on this, meant to be normal, other than this texturing that you see on the strap. There's really no crazy decorations. And, you know, let's get to where exactly we see the branding of Hamilton. So if you look in closely here, I'll get you guys a close-up. I'll use this toothpick. So the first place that you see the Hamilton is right here. You can see that H, which is Hamilton's logo. So on the face, you could see that, and then it says automatic, and then it says Swiss made. We'll do a close-up here. We'll come back, and so there you go. So that's one place that you have Hamilton. Let me open it up, and we went over this before. It also has Hamilton right here on the strap. So this is a Hamilton strap, and it even has a reference number for this strap. So one of the things you can do is change these. You know, you can change out these straps, and I'm sure there's lots of aftermarket ones, and as well that Hamilton has tons of straps that you can put on here. Customize it to your own thing. After all, it is under the Swatch umbrella. So, although I know Swatch has its own unique strap system and all that. Now, on the crown, on the screw-down crown right here, you'll also find the Hamilton H logo right here, as well as on the back of the movement. You'll find Hamilton here on the rotor, or the weight that's moving. See how that moves? And ghosted into it right here is Hamilton. And that's pretty much where you will find the branding on the watch. And one of the other categories that I have, but it doesn't really apply to this particular watch, I don't know if it ever will, because I'm not really heavily into jewels or anything like that, or jewelry. Maybe with Lola, or maybe Lola will get me something fancy, but there's no jewelry on this. It's meant to be very plain, and I honestly like that. I'm that kind of guy. So the illumination here is on the hands and on the markers. So we'll actually go to a dark spot and we'll illuminate it, and then we'll try to, you know, we'll try to show you guys, give you an illustration of that. But the lume is basically here on the hands, and then on the numbers that go around, or the markers, actually, I should say, not on the numbers, they're on the markers. The numbers, what I like about the numbers, they're not black, but they're like a gray, gunmetal gray, so they kind of blend in. One of the things I prefer is not to have numbers, but if you are going to have numbers and they're kind of like ghosted in like that, or muted, it's something that I really enjoy. And so far as complications, features, etc., this does have the day of the week. So right here you'll see that it says, well, this one has Sunday, which will change. That's not the day of the week today, but it does have the right date. It's the 10th, and we'll go in there in a second, and I'll show you guys how to change that. And then basically what you have is subdials. So you have a 30-minute subdial up here at 12 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock you've got an hour. So once you start the stopwatch going here, you know, it can count 30 minutes in 30-minute intervals, and at hour intervals all the way up to 12. So, and then one of the other features that I would show you guys, which I think I've alluded to already, is it does have a screw down crown right here, as well as the buttons. This is basically the start stop of the stopwatch, and then this button here is the reset. The next thing here on my list would be design. You know, is there an artist behind this, or what is it inspired by? If you know the history of Hamilton, started out as an American, I believe a Pennsylvania company that took over one of the Swiss companies, and then was eventually absorbed by the Swatch company. But in its history, I think it started out as a was used on railroads for keeping time, and then around World War II, it was switched over to mostly a military style watch. So that's where this comes from. That's where the Khaki field part of it comes in. And you see that. I think it's very evident here that this is an all business watch. It does have, shows you, it has markers for for each single minute, so you can be very precise going around, as well as the hours if you look here going around. So it's numbered, and that's why typically Hamilton is numbered all the way around. It doesn't have just indicator markers like I usually like when you're looking at something like the Oceanus here. It doesn't have anything indicating the 12 or the 3 or anything like that. But because it's a military watch, it does have that. And then if you look on the inside, you'll notice that in here it also has military time. So 10 goes together with 2200, right? So that's 2200 hours, or you can actually see that in here. The military time is in there, so 1400, etc. So obviously, starting with military time, you'd be at 0, then 100, 200, etc., going around to 22, 23, 24, etc. So it's very, very detailed when I think when it comes to that, and it's really just all business. Okay, if you're looking at the brand pedigree or the history behind the watch, it started in 1892 in Pennsylvania, in America, USA, and was mostly used for railroads and then repurposed to be a military watch. And sometime in its history, I'm not exactly sure when, it came under the Swatch umbrella. I know Swatch started sometime in the 80s, so I'm going to assume way after that it came under the umbrella of Swatch. And it continues. Right now, you cannot get a Swatch watch that is automatic and has a sapphire face and chronograph. They used to have those kinds of things. They don't have that anymore. So that's somewhere that they're differentiating between their other brands. Obviously, they've got Tag and some other companies, and that's how they're different here. With the Hamilton brand, you can get what is a Swiss movement, a watch with some history. And if you really go on the higher end of that, because typically Hamiltons are under 1,000, this one is over that. But you're getting the complication of a chronograph along with that, and the stopwatch. So you know what, let's do some of the things here. I can show you guys how we do the stopwatch. Okay, so here, this is the start stop on the stopwatch. So it's got a nice positive click. There you go. And then that hand starts sweeping around, and you can actually, so let's say when we get to 10 seconds, stop it there, and it holds, and then you can start it again, which will add to the counting, and then I'm going to stop it once we get to 20 seconds. Alright, and if you want to reset it, the bottom button just resets everything. There you go. And so if you let it go, we'll notice, and I'll just keep talking as it goes around here. So up top, the subdial up top will count off how many minutes, so that'll go in minute increments. And then the bottom subdial counts off how many hours. So if you're just timing something for a long period of time to see what's going on, you can do that. I like the fact that there's a nice red arrow here on that second hand as it's sweeping around. And I'm sure that uses up some of your charge. If you're really active, I don't think it really matters. This does have a 60-hour reserve, which I think is not bad. I know there's some that's a lot better than that, specifically when they don't have all the when it doesn't have the chronograph, etc. You get a lot more reserve going with that. So as it comes around here on the minute, you see it just clicked over 1, and so then in time it would keep counting that to, like, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, all the way back around to 30 minutes. And then when it did, if it does the 30 minutes twice, then it'll start counting down now how many hours on the bottom subdial. So that's basically what you have going on there. I'm going to put it on now and show you guys how it looks on the wrist. Alright, so let's put this on here. I don't like anything being really super tight on my hand, but I do want it to, with a watch, I don't really want it to move around too much. So get these double clasps in. There we go. And that's how it sits on the wrist. So there you go, that looks good. And so now let's go into the screw down crown and the operation of this. I said before that this is really, really simple. You obviously have the instructions, but then Hamilton on their YouTube channel has instructions. So the first thing that you would want to do is you'd want to unlock the screw down crown, which basically you just do that by winding it backwards like that, and then eventually it's going to pop out. So there you go. So now it's popped out, and see how it's sitting out there. That's actually position 0 with it. And if you wanted to charge it, so if you weren't very active, or perhaps at night you're taking it off, you want to charge it up, you basically would just wind it by now turning it forward, and that would mechanically wind the watch for you. Okay, so now the other things that you can do if you want to change the time, you pull it out to 1. If you want to change the date, etc. So if you go forward, that's going to change the numbers. And if you want to change the date, you actually can go backwards. So you see that just went to Saturday in there. Here, I'll keep turning it. Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, and there we go, Saturday. So that's how you would do that. And then to move the hands around, you would just pull it out all the way and adjust the time. This time is right on, and I know I've got it set. And if you notice, it's actually stopped. Once I pulled it out there, it actually stopped. The second hand actually stopped moving. So then you could push it back down, and you can either, and see it started again once I pushed it all the way back down. So once you push it all the way back down, you can either continue to wind it, or you can just now totally screw it all the way in, pushing down and turning all the way in until it stops, and then the screw down crown is locked back into position. So there you go, and it's still sweeping around. I mean, I think it's really easy to use. So I appreciate that about it, because I don't really necessarily want to be looking up the instructions every time I want to do something with it. All right, guys, so there you go. It's on the wrist now. I'll probably be trying it out. Obviously, I have a few other watches that I'm going to switch between, but I'm pretty happy with this watch. Let's go over the pros and cons, though. What I really like about it, it's all black. I'm a big fan of that. Automatic, Swiss-made, also a fan of that. And it's got a chronograph as well. I think that's nice. Price, I think, is also a pro with this, coming in at around $1,000, maybe $1,100 on the gray market from Joma Shop. I think it may be like $1,200 or $1,300 on Amazon and other places like that. So those are all pros. The cons for it, for me personally, it's not a very heavy watch, and however, I would like to have something even lighter. So I'm a huge fan of titanium. I think it would be perfect if we could get something like this with the all blacked out, and the chronograph also in titanium. I don't think that Hamilton has anything like that right now, but so far I mean that's the only thing that I would really complain about with this watch. Maybe it could be a little bit bigger. It's 42 inches in diameter. I'm a fan of like maybe 45 or bigger than that, but I don't think everyone is that way. So this is probably like a happy medium for lots of different people, and I don't think that Hamilton really gets into the big watch face kind of thing. So those are really the only negatives that I could think about it, and I'm nitpicking there. Overall, I think this is a really cool watch, and I think I'm going to enjoy it. So you know what? I don't know if you guys really enjoy looking at these kinds of videos about watches and electronics, etc. But that's what I do. It's part of my lifestyle. And if you do enjoy it, if you are into watches, let me know. If you think there's some information that maybe about this watch, also let me know that. I'm going to try to do more of these videos for you guys. And I realized that there weren't really a lot of videos on this. I think the only video that I could find was one that was pretty much in German. So even though I enjoyed listening to all the vernacular that was going on in German, I had no clue really what they were saying. So I figured I'd make a video for that, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm really happy with this. Thanks to Lola for giving me this watch for my birthday and basically listening to all my demands when it comes to watches. So thank you. I hope you guys enjoy this. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm Hank Strange. Peace.